Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.
Welcome to Sports Management Podcast, where you will hear interesting sports management professionals share their stories, experiences, and passion for the sports management industry. I am your host, Marcus Philipsson. Welcome to episode 200 of Sports Management Podcast. Before I introduce today's guest, I would like to take a moment to thank you all for listening to this podcast week after week. It means the world to me. If you would like to support this podcast, the best way to do so is to hit the follow or subscribe button on your podcast player. That helps the podcast grow, and the bigger the show, the bigger the guests. Thank you. Now, today's guest is Therese Sjögran, the Director of Football at Manchester City Women. She's a former player with over 200 games for the Swedish national team, and she has played in the Euro, World Cup and Olympic Games. After her playing career, she transitioned into a role as sporting director at her club Rosengård, and since a couple of months, she is the first Swedish person ever to hold a sporting director role in top football. We spoke about how she got the job at City, being a role model for young girls, the evolution of women's football, her predictions in the ongoing Euro, and much more. Therese Sjögran, welcome to the Sports Management Podcast.
Thank you.
It's great to have you on the show. This is also episode 200, so a big one for me, and really, great to have such a profile and legend in the world of football as my number 200. So thank you so much for taking the time.
Yeah, thank you.
You are currently the director of football at Manchester City Women. So can you tell us a little bit about how, because you're newly recruited, so how you got this role and what this role means?
Yeah, I've been in Rosengård for a very long time, both as a player and sporting director. So I just felt, I think it was in the end of 23 that I felt I wanted to do something else. I knew the year of 24 was my last in Rosengård, and then this opportunity came, and I applied through the internet, and then the process was long, but in the end I got the position. So of course, very, very happy to be here. The title is Director of Football, but it is like a sporting director, recruitment of players, staff, trying to find emergent talent, and so on. So it's a job that I'm familiar to, but of course it's very different from Rosengård. Of course, it's a much bigger club, but the work description is quite the same.
I understand. So what is it that differs most from Sweden? Is it that it's a larger club with larger financial means or larger organizations, or something else as well?
I think it's all you just mentioned. Of course, bigger club, more money, bigger players, but also the structure of the club. I think it's very, very unique with the City Group because we have everything in-house. So I'm trying to find the best way of using everything we have so I can do my job in a better way, if that makes sense. I've been here now for 7 months. I'm still trying to figure everything out, but some departments I'm closer to, so it's an ongoing process. And I think being in City Group, I don't think you will ever be have all the knowledge because it's changing all the time. So, but it's a great club, and I'm happy to be here.
Fantastic. And you mentioned that player recruitment is one part. It's a really interesting time right now with the Women's Euro. So how much are you looking there and scouting potential player for City?
Yeah, of course, we watch players all the time. But I think the players in the Euros we have a good view of. It's more like if you find maybe some younger players who get some minutes and so on. So the scouting and recruitment of the players in the Euros we have been doing that for quite some time. I'm going to fly out on Friday to watch some games live, so I'm looking forward to it.
That's great. If we back up a little bit and just get your background, you mentioned that you have been a player. You have over 200 games with the Swedish national teams, which was most in history up until 2021. 2 World Cups, 3 Olympics, I think, 2 Euros. I mean, very large playing career. So how much of that knowledge from the playing side can help you now in your current role on the management side?
No, I think it helps me a lot to understand the game, understand the players, what they need, and to have the background of playing myself. Of course, with the technical side as well, it's really helpful. I also have my coaching license, which I did because I wanted to understand the coach's decisions and so on. So yeah, I mean, I think for me to have that background, it's key because you understand everything in a better way, I think. But it wasn't like when I stopped playing that the sporting director role was something that I was looking for. I got the opportunity in Rosengård, and that's 9 years. I think it took me to where I am today, and to be able to be at City now and to try to create something big in such a big club. It's an honor, and I really enjoy my time here. And again, trying to help the club and the players in the best way possible.
You have been a lot of years in Rosengård, as you said, as a player and as a sporting director. Was it a difficult decision to, leave and do something else when you have been there for such a long time? Or did you feel that it was more like a natural step to take the next step in your career?
No, I think it was a natural step. Like you said, I've been 9 years as a sporting director in the club, and we had a lot of success. We had ups and downs. I think we went through all the emotions you can have in 9 years. So I felt, like I said, in 24, I felt I need to do something else. And that was my last year in the club as well. I think the club also went in a different direction. That wasn't maybe, with my goals and ambitions. So I think in the end, it was a natural choice. And also I'm lucky this opportunity came because it was not like I had something lined up. So when I applied for this one, of course, it's a big club and something I wanted to do. So yeah, I'm happy to be here.
You mentioned that you applied for this role and then it was a long process. Don't need to go through it like in detail, but just for people who understand like how you get these type of jobs, like what was the process like?
No, but it was a lot of interviews, of course. I was also here at one point meeting all the people. So, but I think it's good, like when you're hiring for a role like this, you want to go through the process in a detailed way, and they absolutely did. I think I applied in June or something, and then I think in September I got the offer, if I remind it correctly. So yeah, it was a long process, but it was worth it.
Fantastic. And they picked you, which made you the first Swedish sporting director in English top football. So how does that make you feel?
Yeah, of course, it's amazing. And like I said, I'm really honored to be here. Of course, they could have made an easy choice and maybe pick a English person, but I really like the way City works. If you look at the structure, like our CEO is Spanish, the new sporting director on the men's side is going to be Portuguese. And the head of the boys academy is German. So yeah, I really like the diversity of the club and how they like structure it and how they pick people. So yeah, but I'm just happy to be here. So
We mentioned you're only the first Swede on this position. City is also one of the few clubs in England without Swedish players. Is that something that you maybe you have a better insight on the Swedish players than someone else would have, for example? Is that something you're looking more at?
yeah, I mean, of course, I know the Swedish market in and out, and I think I said to my boss the other day that we need some Scandis in the team because I really like the mentality of the players, not only the Swedish ones, it could be Danish or Icelandic or whatever. So we are looking at some players from Scandinavia, but it also have to be the perfect fit. But I brought a Knack City in the January window, and she feels a little bit as a Scandi because she's been in Sweden. And but again, I like the mentality of those players. So yeah, of course, we're going to have some in the future.
And you mentioned some Nordics, and I know recently had a coach from Denmark as well.
Yeah, really happy that Andre signed for us. I have been trying to work with him for a couple of times back in Sweden, but it never really worked out. So yeah, I'm happy to get the opportunity now. And I think he will, with his style of play, fit City very well. And also how he is as a person, because we're going to have a really strong team for next season. And sometimes it's hard to keep the players happy. And I think he has that skill and touch to hopefully bring the best out of the players we have and also the style of play we have.
Great. So obviously a little bit of Scandinavian touch here, both you and me being from Sweden. And I read somewhere that Caroline Seger is a legend also in football, obviously, and that maybe that it would be nice for you to have her in some role. Is that something you think is in the cards for the future?
I mean, it would be wrong for me to not have her as an option because I think she has so much experience. She's a great leader. I think she would fit in every team that she goes to. So of course we have contact. I mean, she's one of my best friends as well. So, but yeah, nothing decided at this point. I know she's doing her coaching license at the moment. So yeah, nothing at this time. But of course we are in contact.
Interesting. So how does the building of the team look like right now? Are there some positions or coaches that you're still missing that you're looking for?
Yeah, we are trying to strengthen our squad a little bit more, and hopefully, I mean, the window is very long. It's open until beginning of September, so we have still some time. But I want to have everything in place as fast as we can. But it's always a process to get the right players and so on. And we are also looking to sign an assistant coach. So the process is ongoing, and hopefully we will know more like within 2-3 weeks.
If we're looking at like women's football at large, now, it's growing rapidly. The interest for it's great. We're in the middle of the Euro right now. What type of challenges and opportunities do you see now in an elite level club?
I think, yeah, like you said, the game is growing really fast. And with that, also salaries, transfer fees, and so on. So, yeah, I mean, we are still struggling a little bit with the revenues and so on. And it's not always that like they're matching the salaries, if that makes sense. So it's going to be a struggle for the clubs to keep up. But I mean, we have to. We have to chase Chelsea and Arsenal, for example, in this league. So, and I think also City is doing the right thing and also doing the investments in the right way. So it's up to I think me and my staff to find the right way forward. But again, it's moving fast. So yeah, we're just trying to keep up.
How important is the youth development in this? I mean, how are you working with the academy?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be so important because, yeah, because of Brexit, we're not allowed to sign players until they're 18 from Europe or outside of Europe. I think that's a big struggle for the English clubs because Barcelona and Lyon, they can sign players from 16. So if we find a player in Sweden, for example, who is 16, how do we entertain that player for 2 years before we can sign? So I think because of that, the academy is going to be so important. Like, how can we bring our own youth to the level we need them to be? So we are investing a lot in the academy at the moment. We just started a U10 and a U21 team as well. So yeah, I think in the future and going forward, the academies is going to be so important for the English teams.
Yeah, of course. And I wasn't aware with the Brexit that meant that you need to wait for 18. And I mean, 2 years in that age is a lot. So, they said it puts you in a disadvantage in the English league, then obviously if they can go to, as you said, France 2 years earlier.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a struggle, but it's the same for every club, both men and women. So we just need to find the right way and to use and to invest as much as we can in our own youth, because I think that's going to be so important to maybe bring like 1 or 2 players from the academy every year to the first team. So yeah, putting a lot of energy and investment to the academy at the moment.
Are there any rules in terms of how many foreign players you can have in the league?
No, I mean, if you have a squad of 25, you need to have 8 English players. But there is no rule when you pick the team for a game. So out of 20, there is no limit, but out of the squad of 25, you need to have 8 English.
Looking ahead now, so you said you have been at this role since September somehow, so a couple of months. Looking forward, what would you like to, bring from your end in the next couple of months or years to make a change?
Yeah, but I think this summer window is the first, real window where I can really put some touch to the players we are bringing in and what we want to do in the future. I think this year is going to be very important for us because last season we didn't reach any of our goals. We are not in Champions League, for example, and I think a club like this should always be in the Champions League. So we have a lot to do in this year and try to focus on, of course, now this window, but try to have a little eye towards the next window as well. But again, what we do now in this first part of the season is going to be so important because, yeah, we have high goals and expectations, and we want to try to be that team who can win the league. And then we need also the right players and the right people in this window. So, yeah, it's a lot to do, but also this is the time I like the most, even though it's a lot of pressure and you work a lot, but you always, yeah, when you can see the result and see what you're building is working, then you get the receipt or that you're doing something right. So, yeah, it's an exciting time, and I truly believe if you do right now, we will have a really good chance to be the best team in England.
So, I mean, some tangible goals there, like to be the best in the league, but also compete in Champions League. Are there any other goals, like maybe financial goals or strategic or something within that you're also working towards?
Yeah, of course, we are planning the squad plan for not this year, but also like 2 or 3 years ahead. We had a strategy put together a couple of months ago that we looked at like 5 to 8 years and where we want to be. But again, it's because of the women's game is growing so fast, it's so difficult to have predictions of the future. Because I think like if in this window we have transfer fees that it's like accelerating, then there will be a different market, if that makes sense. So I'm trying to be in the present, but still have a little bit of future views as well. But again, it's really hard to predict what's going to happen.
When I've talked about women's sports and men's sports in general, what I have came to as some type of conclusion is that maybe you need to look at them as two different things, so to speak, that you not just make a copy paste. But is there some learnings you can take within, that you speak to the sporting director from the men's team that he can learn from you or you can learn from him, for example?
Yeah, I think there is always something you can learn from each other, and I feel that the club is working closely with both men and women. And yeah, I've had some conversation with the sporting director on the men's side, and I think it's more has been for the identity of City, how we want to play and so on, and how he looks at players, qualities and so on. Because I think it's important. Men and women are not the same, but it's still football, and I think either way you can learn so much from each other anyway. So yeah, we try to have some exchanges during the season.
If we circle back a little bit to the fact that you said you were that you're the first Swedish on this position, and going from a player to a sporting director, and that women's football is growing so fast, and there are young girls who can have role models from players and also managers and directors that maybe was not the case a couple of years ago. So how do you look at this being a role model for young girls that might want to be players or managers in the future?
I think we have an important role to educate them about the history and not forget where we came from. Because right now, when the young players are coming, they get so much. How do you say it? Not for free, but it's like we are on a different level. So I always try to, when I speak to young players, to remember where we're coming from. Like when I started playing, I didn't earn any money. I worked 100%. So I think it's so important that we don't forget our history. But again, like you said, the game is growing, and to be able for the girls to dream to be a professional and to live from football, I think that's amazing. And just trying to, even though we are at this level now, we always have to fight for making the game better and making the life for the girls better, so they can just focus on the football and not so much about trying to, how do you say, protect our game and so on. So yeah, but we are in a good place, and it's going really fast forward. So yeah, it's great to be in the women's game at the moment.
I understand that, and it's as you said, it's rapidly growing, and it's so much more attention on that than it's been maybe historically. Obviously, there are negative talks and so on, and an example was when the Swiss women were playing like an boys team and they lost, and then you get that like bad publicity maybe. So how do you looking at that to you're seeing on one side that like you're doing this huge progress on women's football, but still maybe you having some call it, I don't know, haters or someone who doesn't really see that.
Yeah, I think it's always going to be like that in a way. It's not like the men's doesn't have haters as well. Like there is always going to be people who doesn't like the sport or that women shouldn't play football and so on. But then again, why are they watching? Why do they care? If they don't like it, don't watch. So I don't think it matters what we do or how far we're going to go. There is always going to be people who thinks differently or doesn't like women's football and so on. But again, like we can only do what we can and drive the game. And, we know it's good. We know it's good enough. And it is keeping growing. And if you watch the Women's Euro at the moment, you will also see the quality has been like so good. So just watch. And if you don't like it, turn it off.
Yeah. No, I mean, we spoke about it before we hit record here. We watched the Sweden's game yesterday, which will be Tuesday. This will go the next Monday. I'm a general sports fan. I'm not a diehard football fan in general, but I mean, just seeing that game versus a couple of years ago, I think like I can see that it's been, a huge improvement.
Yeah. And I think I don't think there is like any bad teams in the Euros at the moment. Of course, like you see when Spain scores 6 goals, you can question a little bit, but at the same time, Spain is, I think, when they play at this level, they are in their own category, if that makes sense. So yeah, I think all teams are getting more and more disciplined. They know how to defend, which also have to bring more for the attacking team as well. So like when I saw Sweden against Poland, I really think Sweden has something really good going on. Like they don't have the superstars, but they are connected in a way. It looks like everybody knows what their role is, and I think that's so important. If you look at Spain, for example, the connection they have between players, it's crazy. But at the same time, last starting 11, I think they had 7 or 8 players from Barcelona. So of course they know each other very well. So, but yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where it goes.
So, do you have any predictions for the Euro? Who do you think will take it? Is it Spain that will take it in the end?
I think Spain is absolutely a contender for sure. I think Germany, France, maybe also, and Sweden. They are a tournament team. So if they get it right in the group stage, which I think they have already, I think they're going to be dangerous. But again, I think Spain, Germany, or France should win the tournament, I think.
Interesting. If you're looking back on your career, maybe both as a player and a manager, director, has there been any bumps on the road? And if so, how did you overcome them?
Yeah, I think like having a long career, you're always going to have some bumps in the road or hiccups or setbacks. But I think the biggest one for me as a player, I tore my ACL in 2012, which was quite late in my career. So a lot of people said like, yeah, she's done. She will never come back at that level and so on. And that gave me that extra fire, to get back and to be able to decide myself when my career was over. But then I missed the Olympics 2012 because of that injury. And then I was out for a year, almost missed the Euros at home, 13. But Pia brought me as the last player in the squad. So always going to be thankful for that, because I think if I didn't reach that tournament, I think I would have stopped playing that year. But yeah, I think that I was selected for that tournament. It gave me 2 more years. So I was able to play the World Cup in Canada 2015, and then I stopped playing after that.
Was it important for you to be able to end on your own terms?
Yeah. So important. And I think that I could leave the game in a better way. That I came back. I came into the national team again. I played 2 tournaments after my injury. So I think for for your mental health and, to be able to decide yourself. I think that's so important. And yeah, I was fortunate. It's not like that for everyone. So yeah, I'm happy I could end in the way I wanted it to.
I understand that. Now, you mentioned you're going to Switzerland to watch some games here. So how does the next couple of weeks and months looks like for you?
Yeah, so I will go on Friday. I will watch Italy, Spain, and then I stay for the Sweden-German game on Saturday as well. Then I go back because I have so much to do. So, but if Sweden goes further in the tournament, I will try to go again. But I have to look at my schedule post.
So not much summer vacation for you this year, maybe.
No, and but I'm used to it. Like, it's difficult to have vacation when the window is open, but I get to travel, and for me that's a little bit of vacation anyway. So
that's true. So when does the window close?
In the beginning of September. I don't know exactly if it's like the 3rd or 4th, but yeah. So it's a long window. So we still have time to make the changes we want to do. So yeah, hopefully we will manage it before the window closes.
That's really interesting. I'd like to end with a networking question. So who from your network do you think would be a good guest on this podcast?
Wow, that was a good question. Maybe Sager, to speak about her career, what she wants to do in the future. Yeah, I would say her.
Caroline Seger, that's a good suggestion. Therese, thank you so much for taking the time to be on Sports Management Podcast.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to the Sports Management Podcast. Please hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any upcoming episodes. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought about this episode. If you want to get in contact with me, send an email to sportsmpodcast@gmail.com or hit me up on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram @sportsmpodcast.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.